Matt Johnson live in Boise, Idaho. Matt, great to see you not in Massachusetts. What is the mood at the courthouse here today?
Well, the number of media from all across the country and around the globe is surrounding the plaza here at the Ada County Courthouse. This courthouse, of course, made famous for the Lori Vallow Daybell trial that I covered and the Chad Daybell trial, which was in the same courtroom where this trial was supposed to take off and kick off this fall in August with that jury selection voir dire process leading into a 3-month-long trial. And like with those trials, we are seeing a lot of trial watchers and people just interested in true crime and these cases that they've been following for years, lining up for hours. We were in a line with people that have been in line since 4 a.m. local time. Here's what 2 women told me and why they wanted to be here today, getting a seat in court. What time did you get out here and why'd you want to be here?
I got here at like 4:15 a.m. and we're local, so, and we follow court things, and so if you're local, it kind of feels like you would be missing out if you didn't come. I am expecting that he'll plead guilty. I'm wondering, I'm curious if he's going to say anything else besides just like his plea, if he's going to say anything in addition to that or not.
I've just been following the case since it happened, and it was last minute, and I was available, so we're in a great group of court followers, and so we said, let's get up there and go and represent, so.
YOLO.
Yeah, YOLO, and that's what we're doing.
You're local, so you've been following the case,
Yeah.
So what do you make of the plea deal?
I was shocked and disappointed. Disappointed for some of the family that was disappointed in it. You know, I feel like if that was going to be an option, it should have been a while ago and not so much time put into it. So kind of disappointed. Disappointed for the family that's disappointed.
And a lot of those family members are being escorted in by law enforcement, making their way into the courtroom now, also speaking with those prosecutors from Latah County ahead of this all-important hearing that is a surprise to them and is scheduled to take place within the hour here. Now, upstairs on the 4th floor, you have media members going as many as 50 people deep that are trying to get a seat inside that courtroom. I will be in that courtroom. I have a seat, but people right now have been in that line for just hours and hours, and they're upstairs just waiting for those courtroom doors to open. Cody?
And Matt, glad to hear that you will have a seat and they're bringing us the latest out of that courtroom. And I want to ask you, what exactly are we expecting to happen today?
Yeah, today is going to be a very dramatic day, one that no one expected, especially those family members. You're going to have this change in plea by this suspect in the Idaho 4 murders case, Bryan Kohberger, changing his plea from not guilty to guilty. This could be an opportunity where we actually hear from this murder suspect admitting to his crimes, and it's something that we haven't heard before because remember, he did not speak at his initial arraignment that happened in 2023. Take a listen.
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
Okay, because Mr. Kohberger is standing silent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge. Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So again, today we're expecting that change of plea. This hearing is going to begin at 11 a.m. sharp Mountain Time. We're going to be bringing that to you live here on Court TV. That begins 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And this could be an opportunity where we actually hear from this suspect turned admitted killer. And then we're going to learn whether or not the sentencing will take place here on the spot, if that is going to take place at a later date, along with those all-important victim impact statements from these families that are still reeling from this tragedy and still trying to heal from this that happened nearly 3 years ago.
And Matt, you mentioned family and family members. I understand you saw some family members arrive to the courthouse.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of family members just arrive to the courthouse here in Ada County, being escorted by law enforcement, making their way into the courtroom where this is going to take place on the 4th floor. They have already been speaking out. They were taken by surprise by this plea deal that they said that they wanted no part in. They did not want a plea deal, at least the families of Xana and Kaylee. And they also say that this is not the end. They will still fight for justice. Here's Kaylee's father, Steve. Take a listen.
it's tough. It's tough to put a community through this, and it could be bad for reputations and business identities, and there's fallout. But this isn't the will of the victims. This is just one person making a decision, and it doesn't reflect what we were asking for.
Steve Gonzalez speaking out right there on News Nation in that interview, and that's been the sentiment from his family and also Xana's family. Now, as for Maddie's family and Ethan's family, they have taken a different approach with this, and they feel that they're able to move on after the final sentencing and this not moving to a trial in front of a jury of 12 here at the courthouse behind me. Here's a statement from Maddie's father. Him saying this to the media: we can actually put this behind us and not have these future dates and future things that we don't want to be at, we shouldn't have to be at, that we don't want to be around this terrible person. We just get to think about the rest of our lives and have to try to figure out how to do without Maddie and the rest of the kids. So basically, they are looking forward to being able to put this chapter to a close. But again, that all starts today at 11 a.m. local time. Cody?
Matt Johnson always doing great work for us here at Court TV. I'm sure we'll be hearing from you very, very soon here on the network later today. Great to see you, my friend. All right, let me bring in my guest for this hour to discuss. Joining us now from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, criminal defense attorney Eric Schwartzreich. Eric, what do you make of Kohberger taking a plea deal in this case from not guilty to guilty?
Cody, good morning. You know, it was a shock. It was a twist. Everyone was expecting a trial here. The death penalty was on the table. And what the prosecution is supposed to do is they're supposed to notify the victims because the victims have input. Certainly the prosecutors, they represent the state and they're the ones that prosecute. But what victims want and their input is very important and highly relevant. But here, and this is just such a tragic case that's gripped the community, that's gripped the nation, that's gripped people internationally. And, you know, people wanted to hear Kohberger speak. They wanted to hear that moment, whether or not he's going to speak in court or allocute at the sentencing. If the state made that a condition, I don't see that. The judge here has the right to reject this plea, or perhaps if he's going to accept the plea, maybe he can ask. He can't force physically Kohberger to testify, but maybe you can ask him to allocute and admit. He's only going to take it if he admits guilt and explains what happened, and perhaps that can help some of the family members and as best as it can to give the victims in this case closure.